All right. All right. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Let's see what we got here. All right. All right, we are live. Let me shut down the music, which you guys can't hear anyway. Listening to Nine Inch Nails, Ghost 6. A very cool record. All right, we have audio, we know that. And let's see. Yeah. The first From the Road episode here, if my internet continues to be okay. I see we have memories of Don Preston on Facebook. And Dina Perlman, hey, how are you? How awesome to start with Dina Perlman, who I will call a friend, a wonderful friend that I haven't met in the three-dimensional world yet. But Dina, good to have you here. And that's fantastic. You'll be at Troy. You know, I also just heard that Reeves Gabrels and his wonderful wife Susan are going to be at Troy. You probably know them if you're in that area. You know Reeves Gabrels? Benny Rodriguez. Tra! What's up, bro? ¿Cómo está? You know who I'm out on tour here with is our buddy Jody McAllister. He was the production manager at the Abstract Logics Festival, right? Which was down here in North Carolina, down there. I'm up here. So Kevin Ritchie, how are you, my bro? You know, Kevin, I'm glad you trusted in the 3 p.m. and you just said, you know what, I'm going to be there. I'll be there because I trust Andre to show up. And all right, so yeah, so folks, this is you know, From the Road special edition, and I'm gonna do these, you know, when I can. Let's see. I'm going to be multitasking here because I'm on the road, so I have texts coming in. Let's see. All right. Sketchy Wi-Fi for you, Kevin Ritchie. Benny, you saw the side eye in New York. That's great, man. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the tour because that's where I am. What's for dinner? I don't know, Christopher Larry. Let's see. Maybe an apple. You know, there's a place next door to the hotel. We'll see what happens. I'm very, you know, this is one of the things I thought I would do with touring is talk about how easy it is to really eat healthy and eat vegetarian on the road, eat vegan, eat macrobiotic, eat raw, eat flexitarian, eat pescatarian, whatever you want. That's just, you know, however many clicks above kind of standard American diet you want. But it's really easy. And that's one of the things I really want to get over to people, that it's psychological. You just got to look around. And so I'm very easy. If a place has a salad, I'm good because I've always got protein. I've always got almonds. I've always got some kind of vegan. I got these. I'm going to put a few things on camera. I've got these nori rolls that I carry around that have almonds and sunflower seeds and stuff in them. Very high protein. I've got well, pretty good protein. 12 grams. You know, if you eat, you know, the whole thing, which is nothing, but that's great. 12 grams. I'm a big almonds fan. I have almonds with me always. Sometimes other nuts, but almonds are just you know, simple, light, very good protein. Um, Brazil nuts, things like that. So my point is, wherever I am, I don't worry because if I can get a salad, which is pretty fucking universal, then you're good, and you don't even need to eat protein in every meal. That's one of the first things to debunk is the stress about protein. It's kind of easy to get if you're just eating healthy foods, a variety of foods. Almonds are about 16 grams of protein in a half cup, so you know, pretty easy um, to eat that much over the course of a couple of hours just snacking on almonds. But and then all kinds of other stuff is in almonds, vitamin E and stuff. So let's see. Let's go back to questions. Oh, there we go. My connection's good. My volume's good. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, throw me questions, throw me topics. It's going to be a short show, and it will tend to be that way. But yes, I figured, hey, Ryan Walsh, how are you? I thought I looked at the schedule and realized, oh wow, we're actually uh, we're actually off on Mondays. So let's see if I can screen share this. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So anyway, off on Mondays, and so I thought, let's do this because I'll be in a hotel room every Monday. So we'll see what happens. No promises. It depends, of course, on the where we are and stuff like that. And we may be rolling down the highway on a Monday at any given time. So, yeah. So let's see. It's about the audio. I'm trying to work out some audio for some things I want to play here. But while I'm figuring that out, this is also surreal for me because I'm just on my laptop, whereas at home I've got microphones and what's the name of this software that does my audio again? Loopback, right? Is that here? Okay. I can't find it. Anyway, where on the road am I? So, a couple things: you never disclose where you are on a tour, other than to say, unless you're at a show, of course, but you never disclose non-venue locations, and you never show pictures of your laminate. If you ever see someone holding up their tour laminate, like, "Hey man, here's the tour laminate," then you know they're fucking up because you're not supposed to do that. Case in point, last year it would have been two years ago, the Foo Fighters had a special show. Maybe it was last year, and someone put a laminate on some social media, and somebody using some of the amazing softwares out there made a copy of it, and people got in for free to this Foo Fighters show. So I'm going to jump around a bit, but I'm going to talk about tour rules and tour guidance and just living on the road as I get back to that after more than 2 years living at home, like most of us. So you never show your laminate, even though that's my laminate. There's my, let's put a little, there we go. No, it's yes, Scott Fisher, good to see you, bro. This is it indeed is a pack of Emergency C19. That's very funny. And I'm about to drink some vitamin C. On the road, I'm pretty good about remembering my vitamins. Um, I'll talk about that a little bit. Some things I take to stay to up the odds, of not getting sick and just feeling good and having good energy. These are long days, folks, and you have to optimize. You don't have to, but if you'd like to feel better, so I choose to. So just to give an overview, left home at I don't know 7 in the morning, Tuesday the 2nd. And we've been nonstop, which has been great. I love nonstop because it makes the time go. But yeah, I've been nonstop for those however many days that is, 6 days, 6.5 days. And there was a lot of mental stress. Like, can I do this? Can I jump right back on the horse? Touring is, it's intense. It could be brutal for some people. It's not for everyone. Because you gotta be able to do many days in a row. You've got to be okay packing small and traveling light and having less sleep and just being in a different city all the time. You've got to have loved ones who understand and support that, and you've got to have a lot of people just don't like to be though in a fast-paced different hotel every couple nights. And sleeping in a bus. A lot of people just can't do it. And that's okay. So that's the first thing I'll say. So we've been going since Tuesday last week and first day off. So it's been great. Kevin Ritchie says, get some sleep. Do I look sleepy? Do I look sleepy, folks? My water's boiling too. I'm gonna get some tea, that's for sure. So let's do a real time what do I do on the road? So one of the things I do is I drink a lot of yerba mate. You all have seen this in the bottle, but you can get it in the tea bags. And I'm going to make some real quick. So all right. Some yerba mate in the house. I happen to have a room with a little stove, so that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get back to some questions. My audio is breaking up. All right, let me go in order here. So Benny saw side eye. We're going to talk about that in a minute, of course. Meatless on the road, Ryan. Yes, thank you, bro. That's good to see you. Marcus Gilmore on drums, right? And he's on the record, right? I believe. So Scott says, "What do we have here? What's that referring to, Scott?" Oh, that's just that this is even on. I don't know. Racks and racks of gear seem to be missing. Okay, background. Right. Well, by now you heard me update that we're off today, and I'll talk about the schedule a little bit. Audio's fine. Okay, great. Denise Romano Bright, good to see you. Ann Everett, good to see you. Fruit salad and fried mushrooms for me. Thank you. There's our first meal. Fried mushrooms. I love fried mushrooms. Fantastic substitute for fried oysters. Right. There are oyster mushrooms, yes, and hence the name for them. Yeah. So what? My phone not charging. There we go. All right. So Kevin, so I wanted to address that. Do I look sleepy? Because I hope not. But But you said tour time, get some naps in. Okay, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about touring because some people don't know some of the dynamics of it. And it's usually not what people think. But I'll talk about sleep. I actually get the best sleep of my life on tour. Best sleep of my life. So it's really easy to rest on tour because you're on a tour bus. And a tour bus is not for everyone, but for me, super easy to sleep there. I sleep like a baby, and many people do. You're in a dark, completely light-free environment in the bunk, and you're gently rocking because you're rolling down the highway. And remember when you were a kid and you'd fall asleep in the car, and there was something comforting about that humming motor of the car. Well, imagine a bus, which has a really serious low rumble. So you hear that, you're feeling that. It's great. In fact, many people in crews, myself included, joke around that one day, if we had enough money, we would convert rooms in our home to be like the inside of a tour bus. Like, I would love have a room in my house where I could crawl into a bunk, have it made exactly the same, and have like either mechanical or audio simulation of what a bus sounds like, and a curtain you can draw, and it's pitch black. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I sleep great. To Kevin's question, sleep's not a problem. I nap at home, but on the road, you got to be awake the whole time. Shit's going down. But today's a day off. I'll definitely try to get some sleep. I got a lot of work to do and stuff to catch up on, and life goes on outside of touring. And as you all know, I do so many different things. I just want to have, okay, good. So we'll talk about some food in a second. Let me just keep trying to catch up here. Right. Scott Fisher says, teasing that you're knowing a dark room. Oh, yeah, right. You're not even talking about being on tour, Scott. You're talking about, right. I didn't even think about that. Yes, of course. A typical Monday does not look like this. Yeah. I'm sitting, I'll disclose the state. We're in Connecticut, of course. And there's the sun. I'll give it a little more sunlight. It's probably about another hour and a half, 2 hours of sunlight. Beautiful, bright day out there. Weather's been good, it's the Northeast, so a little brisk, a couple days, but we're inside most of the time. Dina says, "Funny, was just in Boston. Oh, you couldn't get good tickets. Oh, okay, I see. So you're closer to Boston, maybe. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. Let's see. So, folks, the person I'm responding to here, Dina Perlman, is someone who's become a friend through the internet and my love of synthesizers and history and stuff. And she might have been introduced to me online by the wonderful one of her counterparts in maintaining history and synthesized history, and our dear friend Michelle Mogusa. So Dina Perlman is the daughter of the great Alan Perlman, who is his initials are ARP. So any of you who know synthesizers know that ARP is just some of the most amazing synthesizers of all time. And so Dina keeps the legacy going, and she maintains the Alan Perlman Foundation, and keeps the word going on her dad's great inventions and artistry. So and again, much like her dear friend Michelle Mogusa, whose father was Bob Moog, just really honors this incredible legacy that they grew up with. So I'm going to put the link in here. because you all should check it out. The Alan Perlman Foundation. Because we're talking about music, and you wouldn't have a lot of the music that we all love, not only without a lot of these companies, certainly without the two I'm talking about, without Bob Moog and his inventions, and certainly not Alan Perlman and his inventions. So check it out. Those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, just click there and learn about it. But you all know, because I always tell people, you can bring up Weather Report to some of the jazz and fusion fans, and right away you're talking ARP. You know, Joe Zawinul loved the 2500. Is that the one he had? And he probably had them all. He loved the Odyssey. If you know Frank Zappa, Inca Roads, right? Who doesn't know that song? That beautiful synth solo by George Duke is an ARP Odyssey. And if some of you are going, I don't know any of that music, if you listen to classic rock radio, then you would know Edgar Winter Frankenstein. That's got the big ARP solo in the middle. Or if you know any Stevie Wonder records in the mid-'70s, you know, not so much the early '70s ones, but the mid-'70s. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, click the link, check that out. And Joe had the 2600, Dina. Thank you. I can never remember of those two. All right, so check out the foundation, folks, and check out what they do, and you know, help support them. They're a nonprofit organization, but a lot of history there. Okay, so hi, Sharon Rudolph. How are you? What country are you in? Norbert, how are you, my friend? Is there a chance to see us in Germany's Finale? Okay, well, there's always a chance, and I'm always working in the summer these days, though, and that's number one. And it's kind of a money-losing thing to come to Zappinale, unless we have a little tour, and it's hard to tour in Europe in July and August because y'all go on vacation, holiday, which is great. I salute it. But when a band's coming over, you kind of need 5 or 6 gigs to, you know, generate enough. So let's see what happens. I always say never, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So we will see. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about food I've been having on the road and a couple items in the news. I always talk about food news, so we can touch base on that. Let's see. Okay. All right, what did you have today? Scott had one of those nearly vegan egg muffin. Okay, right, like you said, the English muffin has whey or something in it. Vegan cheese, Cuban nut peppers, just egg. Wow, that's great. That's really fantastic. Yeah, Dina, good reminder. Lots of ARP on the Who records, and everyone who knows my music taste knows I love the Who. Pete Townshend's one of my heroes, and yeah, lots of. He had them all. Let's just say he had all the Moogs, but a lot of things there. The Who he used, and yeah, Tony Banks and Genesis, a lot of ARP Odyssey. David Torn, I was just talking to David Torn, and he used the ARP Avatar, which, yeah, was a bit of a problem for ARP, but in hindsight, really a forward-looking, fantastic, and incredible instrument if you really met it where it was. I think a lot of people thought you could strum rock and roll chords on it, or, you know, play really fast or something. And just like you can't play a trumpet like a saxophone, you just can't. You have a different technique on violin than cello. And I think one of the things of guitar synthesis, to make a big segue here, that people need to understand is it's not a guitar. It's another thing. It's a guitar synth. And so Alan Perlman was so forward-looking and thinking, wow, how do we attach this to this thing that people are used to, this 6-string instrument? You know, connecting a synthesizer to a keyboard was pretty arbitrary, you know? This thing here has nothing to do with what's coming out of synthesizer. This has to do with European classical and Baroque music and things like organs and harpsichords. This is a decision that's completely arbitrary. The 12 notes in an octave are completely arbitrary choices. Um, and there's a lot of discussion there about well-tempered music and decisions that are made. Um, and as you go around planet Earth, the octave is split up in different ways. You look at Arabic music, or you know, Moroccan music, or Ghanaian music, or Japanese, Chinese, Indonesian, you know, whatever it might be, tribal music in the USA, or um, Eastern European music, Russian music, Hungarian music. You get different things. So a synthesizer is really interesting. What you're going to attach to it, and so the ARP Avatar. My segue is, of course, as many of you know, I'm a fanatic for guitar synthesizers, and I have a number of them. And as of this week, I've now worked for four of the real, kind of names that utilize guitar synthesizer a lot. Altamiola, Adrian Belew, David Torn, and out on a tour right now, working for the one and only Pat Metheny. So, and most of you know that. I'm not working directly for Pat. I work for or work for Pat. We all do on the tour, but I'm taking care of the keyboard player, an amazing guy named James Francis, who is just wow, one of these phenoms that comes along every few years. And we've got a great keyboard rig, which I'll talk about a little bit if you care to hear. Um, but it's a piano. We have a grand piano. We have a Hammond, digital Hammond organ, double manual. And we have a couple synthesizers, and we have a computer running some stuff main stage. So that's what I'm doing right now. Ben Rodriguez says, Joni's birthday. Yes. Joni's birthday was yesterday. The amazing Ms. Mitchell turned 78 yesterday. And yeah, I thought about it, listened to a little bit of Joni, not enough. But what was special for me is when I was about 15, I got 15 or 16, I got the Shadows and Light CD, which is, the live album from 1979 that Joni did. And she had an amazing band, Jaco Pastorius and Don Elias and Michael Brecker, Jaco Pastorius, but two guys who were in another band named Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays. So I was 15 or 16, first time I heard any of those people. Yeah, right around then I heard Michael Brecker with Zappa. But everyone else was like, wow, reading the cassette stuff, like, who are these people? But I remember, like, wow, what a sound, this guitar player. Because he had a little solo on there. There was a Lyle solo and a Pat solo, which gave you the idea, okay, these guys, they got a solo here. Michael Brecker gets a solo, Jaco. But that was my first time listening to Pat Metheny. And Joni Mitchell, I didn't know much either. So yesterday, one special story I'll share is, you don't see the people you work for that much. Let me make that clear. People think we're hanging out and having champagne and dinners every night. You don't. You tend to see these musicians for a few minutes every day. And I think people need to readjust what they think. I've worked for Steve Howe for most of the last decade, and on tour, I see him for 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the rehearsal. He comes, has a cup of tea, we chat, and that's a lot. Like, that's, you don't. So Pat's cool. Say hi to him. He's, comes in to do his thing and plays, which is great to hear and see. But yesterday, he was leaving after his warm up and the band sound check, and I just was right there on stage. And I said, "Hey, Pat. Hey, man, how are you?" And I said, "Great. How are you?" And I said, "Joni's 78 today. And he said, oh, yeah, I knew her birthday was soon. And like, wow. And he just had a memory real quick. So that was cool. That meant a lot to me because 40 years ago, I was listening to this stuff. And, if you had come in a time machine and said, here's what your career is going to be like. And 40 years from now, you can celebrate this woman's birthday, say happy birthday standing next to the guitarist. So just a funny and silly story about time and circles of time and weird shit like that. But it's it's a long journey. All right, let's see what I got here. Oh, and just for those of you who don't know it, there's that whole concert movie is on YouTube, and there's Joni and Pat about 42 years ago. So pretty wild. The amazing Miss Mitchell and her backing band. So okay, awesome. Let's get back to any topics you want. Pat Solo, Sims of Amelia. Yeah, that's great. I think it's labeled Pat Solo. Yeah. And I think there's, right, Jocko Solo, Mike Solo, or Lyles. What do I think about the Electric Prunes? I have good memories. I only know a few songs, but yeah, Electric Prunes are cool. I like a lot of that psychedelic, late 60s, early 70s music. Love it. That's some kitschy and weird stuff. Benny, you saw that show at Forest Hills? Oh my God. It's going to be really hot. It is amazing that these folks are still making music. Although Joni has not made any music lately, but yeah, you're saying Pat. Well, Pat's only 67, so. And I say only because, wow, you got these people, Pharoah Sanders, Herbie's only about 80, Don Preston's 89, McCoy Tyner was close to 90, I believe. So yeah, when you're a jazzer, 67 is like, not much. How old was, McCoy was about 80, so, and Pharoah Sanders, who just did a record, is something like close to 90. Born in 1940. No, he's 81. So, all right, 81. All right. So some food stuff. It's been great. What I love about the road too. And again, I'm going to keep this show pretty short, folks. Probably just about an hour. But I love the road because it inspires me to get healthier. I take my vitamins every day. I've got my vitamin C. And I'll show you what I travel around with. I have traveled around with this. Just a little one of these stupid boxes you can get at Office Max or Home Depot or something. And I just put my vitamins in there. That way I'm not carrying a bunch of bottles, And I could just pop it into a Pelican or a backpack. And what's in here? So I've got some vitamin D3, some vegan D3, which means it comes from some sort of algae or sea vegetable. D is a tricky one. It's often from lamb's wool and different things. So let's take my D live on the air. D is the one thing I was deficient in my recent checkup. Had great vitamins, great mineral levels in my blood, but D was low, which is common for a lot of us, just humans, not getting enough sun. So D is a very common deficiency, no matter what you eat. So much so, that's why it's in dairy products and some other things. D is a real, pay attention to D, folks. Get your D checked, because that's important. What else do I have? I carry Andrographis. which is a really great um, herb. It's great for the immune system. You can look it up, read about it. Got some really good properties. I take some spirulina, which y'all I've talked about that in the past. I don't take much, really. It's like three things: um, spirulina, three tablets, and then the liquid uh, vitamins and herbs. Spirulina, though, is you've heard me talk about it a lot. It's a blue-green algae. It's one of the few complete foods. Um, and people will argue about that, but in most nutritionist experts and um, science supports that there's roughly three foods. There's possibly more, but the three big kind of perfect foods um, are mother's milk, number one. Mother's milk. Think about it. For a mammal, that is the perfect food for your first couple of years, right? And it has to be. It has everything in it, all the minerals, all the nutrients, protein, proper balance of fats, omega fats, linoleic acid, different amino acids, different uh, everything on the list is going to be in mother's milk, right? And that's why milk is such an important topic, because why are we drinking milk designed specifically for one thing in nature? Think about it. Cow's milk has exactly one intention by nature, which is to take a baby cow who cannot go out and eat grass and take care of itself, to feed that cow all the things it needs to grow up to be a bigger cow, which will then be grazing. Wolf milk has really only one purpose. Yeah, I don't even have to finish that. Rat milk has one purpose. Human milk has basically one purpose. Of course, we can use things for whatever purposes we want, but you know what I mean. The intention of evolution is, and the end result of these billions of years of life on planet Earth. Mammals create this incredible fluid for their offspring. It's pretty simple. So milk's a perfect food. Another one is eggs. I don't eat eggs currently, but I always tell people eggs. Wow, incredible food. Wow, a clean, organic, farm-raised egg where the chicken has not been drugged and fucked over by modern chemicals. Don't even have to say that, really. That's all that I support, whether it's broccoli or bison or eggs. But eggs are a perfect food, folks. So if you do like eggs, remember, this show is Meatless Monday. I'm talking about once a week, not eating flesh. But I'm an advocate if one of the things you're doing to get off of so much meat and flesh in your diet, and you're going, I need more protein. I'm a bodybuilder, or I jog a lot, or I have long days, or I'm a nursing mother, or I'm pregnant, or I'm somebody trying to maintain body weight. Whatever the reasons, and you might say, I really need protein. Consider that eggs are really an incredible food. And I'm a vegan, but I'm an intellectually honest vegan. The facts are the facts. And it's funny, you will meet some vegans who just tell you eggs are poison, which is weird. Choose to not eat them, but you can't change science. But we're in that time where I've done my research and I decide otherwise. No, eggs are really awesome in terms of the hardcore nutrition of them. And I'm vegan. I haven't eaten eggs in several years, but I ate some organic eggs for a few years. I don't know what year the hell is it? 2021. I don't know, something like 2016 to 19, something like that, 15 to 18, somewhere in there. I was just touring a lot, and it was, just easy to have some scrambled eggs or an omelet in the morning on tour. Didn't have to, because I toured before and after that without eggs. But this particular tour I was on, and I was in Europe a lot. I remember when I made this decision, that's what it was too. I was in England, and we had this incredible caterers on the road with us with Yes. They traveled with us, which was incredible. So we had the same two women cooking for us every single day, which is just, amazing. Because then they know what all 12 people really like, and who doesn't like spicy, and who's allergic to nuts, and who's a vegan, who's a vegetarian, who's a pescatarian, that kind of thing. And so they really could fine tune. And but they had these organic farm raised eggs, and I said, you know what? Let me. So that's the second perfect food: mother's milk of any mammal. Eggs for humans are really incredible food. And there's a book called The Egg Project that's really good. There's several articles about eggs that debunk also the kind of mistaken vibe that eggs got in the 70s and 80s about the cholesterol. Because yes, there's cholesterol in them, and yes, you can eat too many eggs, and that serum cholesterol, your serum cholesterol will reflect that. But being really moderate about eggs and eating, a few a week, it depends on the person. So I'm not going to give a number, but you don't want to be eating like 3 or 4 eggs a day. I mean, let's be clear. So look into eggs if you've avoided eggs for different reasons, and get organic, free-range, clean, drug-free eggs. And if you can get unfertilized, even more so. But anyway, third and final perfect food: mother's milk, eggs, and that would be eggs of ducks and other birds too. Spirulina, folks. Wow. And this is my favorite of the three for so many reasons. It's environmentally clearly the winner, because it literally grows on lakes and still water. It's been around for millions of years, thousands of years in human food. The Aztecs and Mayans would gather spirulina from lakes. Parts of Africa, they would gather spirulina from lakes and other algae and dry it and then use it once they discovered it was a food. So it's environmentally the winner because it uses almost nothing besides water. That's it. It's photosynthesizing. It's loaded with chlorophyll. That's one of the first things that's awesome about spirulina. So it really takes almost no human resources per se. I mean, it's now cultivated as an industry, so it does take building these giant concrete ponds and pure water being moved in and out, and mechanisms that take energy. So it does, but far less impact than dairy industry or chicken industry. So spirulina, if you haven't heard of it before, look it up. Again, just like those other two foods, everything in here: B vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, K, omega 6s a little bit, but really strong on the omega 3s. It's got all the omegas really, but omega 3 that you keep hearing about that you need to take fish oil and this and that, you've got those components, or the pre-components, things like linoleic acid and other acids that your body synthesizes, some of these fatty acids if you give it the parts and pieces. This stuff is not complicated, folks. It's really, we live in such a great time where you could just go watch a video about omega fatty acids and really give yourself a basic knowledge of that. So spirulina, you've probably seen if you drink any of these green shakes like Naked Juice or anything like that. Anything that's green, it's almost always spirulina. So I take about 6 of these a day, and I'll take those in a little bit. So that's my supplement regimen, I think. Vitamin D. Oh, I take a 1-a-day multi, over 40 men's natural multi. What else do I have here? I've got some alpha lipoic acid in a vegan capsule. That's a great antioxidant. I'm big on antioxidants on the road. And I take some zinc. For you conspiracy theorists, zinc, like this football player, I'm immunized because he takes zinc and homeopathics. No, bro, you're not immunized. The problem with all those people is that they're not wrong. They're not wrong. that we should optimize our own immune system. They're not wrong that we should be taking vitamin A and D and things I'm talking about. They're correct. That zinc is an incredible, uh, uh, immune tool. But then they go off the rails, thinking that these are magic pills and they'll do everything. So I take some zinc. I think it's 50 milligrams. I'll take the zinc because I need a little bit more vitamin C. This is about 2,000 milligrams of C, which is, I want to try to get closer to 10 a day, And I eat oranges and I eat fruit with C in it. But if you can't, I can't recommend Emergency enough. I've been drinking and using Emergency for probably, oh my God, 30 years. Yeah. One of the most important things I carry on the road. And it's cool because when I started carrying this around, nearly 30 years ago, early 90s, they had one flavor, I think, 2 flavors. It's been so encouraging to see how everything's grown over the years. And you hear me say that a lot when I talk about the availability of foods, but also things like this, these supplements that were weirdo health food decades ago is now mainstream. So you see Emergency in, of course, every pharmacy. That's what's great. If I run out of it, oh, there's a CVS. Bang. CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, the kind of stores that you're stuck going to on tour, always have Emergency. Any natural food store, any Whole Foods, it's great. I've seen it at supermarkets. I've seen it at the checkout at supermarkets. In England, it's funny though, in England, which usually has better, cleaner ingredients on stuff, be careful. The Emergency over there, I think I found one flavor with gelatin in it. That was weird. So you have some strange glitches. Though by and large, in England, far superior ingredients and labeling and stuff. So go figure. So, all right. That's a little bit on 3 perfect foods, and the one of which I try to include every day in my life. Sometimes I take something called Ginseng Plus, which I highly recommend. Oh my God. Pure Planet Ginseng Plus. Wow, that is one of the greatest products ever because it is spirulina with ginseng, with American ginseng. And people, if they see Korean ginseng, it sounds more exotic, so they want. American ginseng is the one that's sought after in the Far East. So we export a lot of ginseng from the U.S. It's from the Great Lakes area, I believe, Wisconsin, Michigan. So here you have it, folks. This product is incredible. I'm not exaggerating. I've toured decades with this as one of the things in my arsenal. And any of you know how much I get done and how many long days I have. And when I'm out with Project Object, I'm driving the Sprinter or the van. I am playing the show. I'm being the tour manager. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of stress management. And ginseng actually is really an anti-stress. It's an adaptogen. Okay, ginseng is not a stimulant. A lot of people think, oh, I don't want to take ginseng. It's too late at night. I'll get hopped up. Ginseng's not a stimulant. We have to break that mistaken narrative. Ginseng is an adaptogen, which means it adapts. It helps adapt your body. Helps adapt your body to stress. Okay, to endorphin. I think the word would be stress to say too. Yeah, but and by reducing that stress, it thereby gives you a chance to really optimize the energy that you do have. So if you're interested in any of this and you want one thing you want to check out, man, oh man, Pure Planet Ginseng Plus. And let's see, do they have a website? They do. Pure Planet. Oops, spelled it wrong. Oh, there it is. So Pure Planet's one of my favorite companies. They also do, it's showing me the planets. Okay. Pure Planet. I was just going to say they do a red algae that's wonderful. That's actually antiviral, more for herpes and things like that. Not that I would know. I've never had herpes, but I've sold it to a lot of people with herpes, and they've had great results. This stuff here, the red marine algae, folks, Dumont-Say, if you want to read about an amazing alternative antiviral, the red marine algae. This is the thing, too. And Frank Zappa had the song, "The ocean is the ultimate solution." There's stuff we're still finding in the ocean. And red marine algae, if you're interested in these things, which I hope you are, being here on Meatless Monday, marine algae is a pretty incredible area. And I've just talked about two of them. Amla is a bitter fruit, I believe, from India, from the Ayurvedic background. Yeah, it's the Indian gooseberry. Yeah. And it's one of the highest sources of vitamin C, incredibly absorbable vitamin C. And it's something they use in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries. So Pure Planet is really a great company because they keep it simple. They only have, really a moderate amount of products compared to some companies that try to do it all. And I can't say enough about their efficacy and their honesty. It's a company I've dealt with as a natural foods professional and as a natural foods business co-owner and as somebody having to order these things and interact with the public about results. I cannot say enough about Pure Planet. And of course, I'm not endorsed at all by anybody, but one of the best for those two products that I use. The straight spirulina, which I use several brands of that. Even at Trader Joe, there's a really good spirulina. The Trader Joe brand spirulina is fantastic. But there you have it, Pure Planet. Jumping around here, folks. Let me just pay attention to my messages because I'm on tour. And although it's a day off, you get important messages that I might need to respond. Let's have some yerba mate. And then let's come back to some. All right. All right, let's come back to your questions. Wow, that's awesome. A lot of great things about herbs. I love it, as I've been dabbling. Thank you so much for stopping by, folks. Again, if you've just tuned in, Meatless Monday Meetup. I'm going to do this when I can. No promises. Also going to do a little Patreon when I can. And let me put my Patreon in there. Thanks to those of you who have supported me on Patreon. There it is. What is Patreon? For those of you who don't know, that's what I do when I'm off the road, and it helps me stay afloat. And it's work. It's me providing content to my subscribers. I do performances. I do workshops. A couple of people at a certain level get lessons, guitar lessons, synthesizer lessons. I do a synthesizer workshop every Saturday night where I have guests. Adam Holtzman's been on there. Bob Gluck's been on there. Don Preston's coming up in December, hopefully December or January on there. So I do that, and I do all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to list it all right now, but if you'd like to support what I do and support the independent musician, Patreon is a way that probably most of the independent musicians are on there. I support a couple other ones, and I think it's a great, great system because it's not a handout. You're working, you're doing, you're creating content, you're creating music, workshops, whatever it might be. And it's not just for musicians. There's people with Patreon sites who are teaching photography, woodworking, philosophy, you name it. So anyway, all right, let's back up. I'm going to catch up. Wow, this is great. Norbert is 67. That's great. You're, I'd say, middle age. Kevin's struggling at 64. All right, bro. Well, the struggle is real, and you're doing great, and we're here to support you. And I think you're doing great, and you're also middle aged. Scott says, "Okay, thanks. I turned you on to Andrographis and Astragalus too. Another. That's what I should have brought. I've got a health food store stop in 4 days. I'm going to get a few things, and well, the A's have it. Astragalus is one, and ashwagandha. I see Dean has brought up ashwagandha. My quick answer is I love it. I love all Ayurveda. Things like turmeric, though, boswellia, ashwagandha, astragalus. Kind of, there's an Indian, connection there. All of those things, amazing, amazing. They're great for immune system, which is my kind of priority right now. And it's a reminder it should be always, and it kind of is. You all have been watching this live stream for a long time, and you know that I'm always trying to optimize my immune system and help you with yours. But I'm going as high as I can, being on the road, living in a bus with 9 other people, being out in the world of COVID, my first time in over 2 years to be out. So we're taking a lot of steps, which I can talk about. One thing we're doing tests a couple times a week. We have mask protocols. There's mask protocols at the venues. There's a vaccine requirement to see these shows. Sorry. And this is all public stuff. I don't talk about anything private about tours, of course. But if you go to Pat's Instagram or his website, it says right there, hey, we're deadly serious about this. And Pat's always been a real science-oriented guy. In fact, if you look, I'll put a link, actually. If you look on YouTube, there's a discussion with Pat Metheny and a few scientists about neuroscience and the neuroscience of creativity and things like that. So he's always been known as a very science-oriented guy, fascinated by technology and computers and space travel and scientific history and things like that. So as a consequence, management, the artist, everyone, totally treating this like the serious thing it is, and despite the whatever. All right, so Sabine, how are you? Sabine's here. We got someone from across the pond. Sabina will be in Germany next year with this tour, so hope to see you. Patrice, how are you, my friend? I'm good. I'm here with a lot of synthesizers. Norbert drinks a half-liter milk today since you're 8 years old. Okay, I don't advise it, but I respect all your choices. How's your bone density, Norbert? Have you had a bone density test? Because we are told that drinking milk makes our bones rock solid. They're incredible for your bones. And some people have great bones at that age. Some do not. It's difficult to sort out what's doing what because diet has a whole bunch of moving parts, and so does DNA and ancestry and things like that. And how much you exercise and weight-bearing exercise and how much you walk. There's so many factors. But I will say at 50, 54, 5, 6, when I started getting really good checkups on bone density, the doctor even commented and said, wow, really, really good and consistent bone density. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I turned to the doctor and I said, I don't touch milk. I don't eat cheese, don't eat yogurt, nothing from a cow at all. And the doctor said, wow, well, just keep doing it. And I switched doctors because of our weird healthcare system. It's okay, it is what it is. But the new doctor I went to, she was vegetarian. She consumed milk, but she was even more supportive of that. So let me know, Norbert, if you care to share private info like that. How's your bone density? Because for some people, good, some people bad. But, half a liter of milk a day is, if you're fine with it, then fine. If you have great digestion, you're not getting acid reflux or, indigestion issues or any number of things that people get from milk typically. And if your bone density is awesome and your cholesterol is fine, then great, you're an aberration on that because most people consuming that much of a fluid designed to turn a 80-pound calf, 100-pound calf into a 500 or 600-pound animal. That's what the fluid is designed for. It's rocket fuel. So if you're drinking that much of it and you have absolutely you're not on any pharmaceuticals, no prescriptions at all, then I salute you. But you are a mathematical anomaly, because that most people are not pulling that off, drinking that much milk at that age. Scott suggests, almond, coconut milk. I took a picture, I thought, of this. Thanks for the reminder. The first couple of days, we were in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We did rehearsals and production day and the first show. And so we stayed at this hotel, and there was see if I can find it, a supermarket. And we went in, it's right next door to the place. I thought I took a picture. Well, I'll keep riffing while I look for it. And this place, oh my God, the amount of, the amount of milk alternatives just blew my mind. This is in Plymouth, where were we? Yeah, Plymouth, New Hampshire. I'm talking, I'm going to estimate 30 feet of fridge space in the dairy section. Wow. I mean, and I look for this stuff all the time. I'm always kind of measuring how the market's growing, and I was blown away to see that much. There was soy milk, oat milk, rice milk. My colleague on the tour, she got some oat milk, I think. Yeah. Oh, flax milk she got. There's flax milk, hemp milk, pea milk, different types of rice milk, cashew milk. I mean, it's just astounding these days. And so many of them are delicious. I don't really use any of them because I don't eat cereal typically. And once in a while when I cook, if I'm doing a soup that's a creamy soup, in fact, we watched a movie driving here. We watched Slaughterhouse-Five. I'd never seen that. Wow. The Vonnegut novel, a very psychedelic movie, anti-war movie, essentially. Stunning. And they're eating some soup in there. And I said, oh, I got to make that when I go home. It looked like cream of potato soup. And I just had the thought of like, oh, yeah, I haven't cooked a creamy soup in a long time, but very simple to do. Get some plain soy milk, some plain almond milk. They used almonds as a soup base in the 1300s. Many of you have heard that before. If you haven't and you're stunned, just go Google it. Google 13th century almond milk, and you'll get some articles, particularly almonds. They weren't doing the other things. I think there were some rice milks, but in some Asian countries and actually some Central American countries, they used rice for a long time to mash it and boil it and make a milk type of thing. So, okay. Celine says, it's going to sound weird, but can vegans eat fish if they choose to, and that's the only meat they eat? Then you're not vegan. Yes, as Scott Fisher points out. Thank you, Scott. No, I mean, words have meaning, although we're in a time where they don't. People just call stuff what they want. So it's tricky. And I'm consistent about that. I don't like going to, say, like a vegan Chinese restaurant and it says chicken and beef and pork. I just call it seitan. Call it soy nuggets. Call it, and then I'm kind of a fan of if you do things like spell it differently. Like if you do something like this. There's one company that does this sort of thing. Just change the name, because then you've had a new word. That's how language should work. Come up with a new word for stuff if it's a new thing. So something like this, I endorse. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying for me and for consistency, I think this works. When I see that sort of thing in a restaurant, then I go, it's not chicken. It's, and there's all kinds of other spellings. You've seen them. So I think that's, having said that, Celine, and that's exactly why, because vegan means no animal products. Here's the problem. Here's the operative problem. and I've had this happen. Again, I travel a lot. I'm often somewhere in the world. I sit down in a restaurant. The chef, the waiter comes, blah, 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 and I say, "Oh, is this product? Is this thing vegan?" Because maybe it doesn't say, And they'll say, let's say it's a Thai place, and where you have to check a bit, although Thai food's incredibly vegan friendly. But I'll say, "Is this?" And the waiter will say, "Well, yeah, yeah." And I go, "Well, what's in the sauce?" Because then, what's a fish sauce? And I'll go, I just asked if it's vegan. Well, I get vegans in here who eat fish, and they'll get snarky about it, and they're mad at me because somebody else changed the definition. So that's why I'm not a big fan of vegans not being vegan because it hurts the rest of us. Because then we show up, and somebody's been given, frankly, misinformation, right? Somebody's been told, "Well, I'm a vegan, but not today, and I'm going to eat this duck or something." That happens a lot. So with all due respect, eat whatever you want, but I think it's efficacious to call stuff what it is. And so Scott's saying you'd be a pescatarian or a flexitarian or, vegetarian plus fish, any variation on that. But got to be careful there, especially if you're in a restaurant setting. That's where it really does create some confusion. I see that all the time. So Norbert has coconut milk in his pina colada. Okay, yeah, awesome. Of course. Do you like pina colada? Sharon Rudolph. Yep. So you're like me. Emergency for 30 years. Yeah, solid 30 years. I was working at the George Street Co-op. My first natural food store in my life was, that I worked in my life was the George Street Co-op. And I'm really, really excited to go there in a couple of days. It's a place in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And let's see, when are they open? 11 to 8. I'm just checking right now because of COVID and all that. But the George Street Co-op is very special to me because I was about 23, 24, and I joined this co-op. I didn't know what's a co-op, and I learned all about the idea of a co-op and, where you pay like a membership dues once a year, once a month, whatever. And then you work. That was the big thing at this place. You would go and work. You had to work, I forget, but a bunch of hours per month. And you had different layers. Like you could work 20, 30, 40 hours a month and you got different discounts. So I loved it because it taught me about exchange of labor. It taught me that labor is worth something. And it taught me that you don't have to have a money exchange per se on stuff, but that money in the equation is how our society runs. So it was really great for a student. I was in college at the time, just finishing college, actually. I got my associate's degree in computer science, and I went back to Rutgers University, which is there in that town. I never quite finished my bachelor's, but I got a lot of it done, but just never finished for reasons related to, but not exclusively involving music, drugs, and more music. Just a joke. I wasn't a drug addict or a heavy user. I've never used, heavy drugs. But I just didn't finish school. But what I did do is discover this new life of, I'd been a vegetarian for about 5 or 6 years in the late 80s. Became vegetarian in 1984, late 83 or 84. And so, wow, I discovered this place with all these new things to learn about, all these new foods and this idea of working and learning stuff. So when you worked there, you would do all kinds of stuff. If it was late in the day, your slot, you might be sweeping or mopping the floors. If it's early in the morning, you might be opening boxes of bananas and stocking them, or broccoli, taking it out of the ice and bagging it up, or displaying it. You might be stocking apples or taking a 25-pound tub of peanut butter and scooping it into little 16-ounce containers of peanut butter, weighing it, printing out the label, and putting that on there. That kind of stuff that you see at co-ops is very labor intensive, and that's the way they do it, by having scores of workers, who work their time off. So Very excited to be there in a few days for a number of reasons. This is right up 2 blocks from the gig, and they've got some food there. They serve some food upstairs. They've got some nice lounge upstairs. I spent years in this lounge having meetings because I was a manager at one point, or for several years. This is the steps, up the steps. Like any co-op, it's pretty crunchy, so you got some real. It's good and bad. Mostly it's good. All the progressive ideas and woke before we had the word woke. And of course, woke has its issues, but look at this, all these cool things. Yeah, who doesn't want peace and ending occupation of different lands that are not yours? And globalization is a tough one because globalization has got its pros and cons. This is just some food that they have and some of the different things going on there. But I just want to end it with here's the front of the place. Oops, how do I don't know how to move this around. I'm pinching and turning, but it's not moving. Anyway, you get the idea. That's where the George Street Co-op is. That's the street it's on. Yeah, maps not cooperating right now. Anyway, you get the picture. Going to be in New Brunswick, New Jersey on Thursday with this tour, and very excited to slip out at lunchtime and visit my old stomping grounds and pick up a few things. We're playing at this place called the State Theater, and that's going to be really special because when I say State Theater, New Brunswick, New Jersey, I think Pat Metheny, because I've seen no artist more than at that place. I saw Pat there 6, 8 times, at least, because he'd come through every year. It's one of his favorite venues anywhere, and we were all delighted in Central Jersey to hear him say that many years ago. He said that 30 years ago or more. And he did a live DVD there. I was there that night. We were there, and I'll never forget, they got to the end of the concert. This was the Pat Metheny group with Lyle Mays and Steve Rodby and, Paul Wertico, and I think it was with Pedro Aznar. I don't know if Philip Hamilton was with them yet, but yeah, I think it was the classic, 5-piece band, 6-piece band. But I forget who was on percussion, but I think Pedro Aznar on vocals. But they finished the whole concert, and you saw the cameras and all that stuff, and they got to the end and did the encore and said goodbye. And then the lights went to half house, and Pat comes out and says, look, my engineers are telling me that we just need to redo a few things. I can't remember what it was, some camera issues, or maybe he just felt we could do this song better. Whatever it was, I in the mists of time, I forget. But he said, if you don't mind, we're gonna run through another whatever half dozen songs, and you're welcome to stay. Wow, big cheer went up, and pretty much everyone stayed. I think a few people left because it was whatever time it was. But I'll never forget that. And that came out as a DVD, which you can find. So the State Theater in New Brunswick, really special to me for seeing this artist. And it's going to be pretty emotional to go back there and be, setting up and being part of the team that puts the show on. So going to be interesting. All right, I'm going to wrap up in just a few minutes. I just want to go through your last couple points and questions. So emergency, yeah, pumpkin seeds, sure. Pumpkin seeds for zinc. That gets into supplemental, one could say eat oranges for vitamin C instead of taking emergency. So, supplements are going to be the eternal debate. Should we take them? Should we just eat the food? Sure, I would do both. I would take emergency, but also be eating things like parsley, which are rich in vitamin C, anytime I can. Of course, citrus fruit, grapefruits, lemons, limes, oranges, as well as taking emergency. I would eat pumpkin seeds and other, uh, you know, seeds and nuts that have zinc in them. But I'd also take some zinc, just because right now we all need to really be very high on, let's say, a dozen basic immune building supplements. But yeah, pumpkin seeds. I love seeds. I have them on the road with me usually. Pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds. They're a little annoying to carry around, but I have in the past. But usually pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds are the big ones for me because they're delicious. You can just have them with you in your backpack. Dump some on a salad, which you can get a salad anywhere. Delicious. So agreed. Pumpkin seeds are fantastic. Denise says no gelatin. Exactly. Gelatin's gross. It's roadkill and bones and hooves and all kinds of fucked up shit that people don't realize. Kevin Ritchie, tea sweetened. Okay, that's cool. I love sweet tea once in a while. I'll get a bottle of that once in a while, but I love just straight tea, straight coffee. Also, how are you, my friend? Liposomal vitamin C, absolutely. Yep. Topically, I've never had, but I've had internally. Better access and absorption. I don't know. That's a great question. That's something that I don't know the research on, but I do know that liposomal C is great. And C is not typically a fat soluble. It's not a fat soluble vitamin, but putting it into a fat substrate is shown to be really good. The fat soluble vitamins are A and D and E and K, but to get some very interesting absorption of vitamin C, the liposomal is very good. And there's other reasons that the liposomal is very good. Also suggesting skull cap. Yeah, great stuff. I've used that in the past. Denise has the milky oats from David Winston. So Denise, if you're still listening, I just talked about the co-op. One of the board of directors of the co-op is a woman named Marilyn Winston. One of my dear friends. I think she's in her 80s or 90s at this point. But Marilyn Winston, as you probably guessed, is the mother of David Winston. So the Winston energy and herbal knowledge for me goes back to the very beginning. I met David Winston, over 30 years ago, and started using his amazing tinctures and extracts. I'm going to pick a few things up at the co-op. It's one of the few places that you can get it direct, right off the shelf. Most of his business is direct, and certain stores in the know have herbalist and alchemist stuff. But I love that you know about that. Of course, where you are in Eastern PA, he's not far from there. But David Winston is one of the best. Folks, if you don't know who David Winston is, just look him up. He's a master herbalist. My late partner, Sherry, studied with him, became a certified herbalist. He has an incredible program. I think it was about 4 years long. David and Susan Weed is another herbalist that I met once or twice because of the co-op. She would come and do things. Incredible herbalist also. That's Susan, S-U-S-U-N, like the sun, Susan Weed. And she's another Northeast kind of, there's so many great herbalists, but that's two of them. Dina says, what I think about ashwagandha, love it. As I was saying before, all the Ayurvedic stuff, ashwagandha, immune system, I think, is it anti-stress too? I forget. Some of this stuff, folks. It's been so long. I know ashwagandha is good for the immune system. Ashwagandha, I know it's immune enhancing. It is anti-stress, right? Which I just said. Yeah, I know. I always put it with ginseng and straggles a little bit for that stress support sort of thing. Yeah, ashwagandha is good. I've never seen a bad Ayurvedic, discussion. If it's high quality, the Indian pharmacopoeia, the plant-based pharmacopoeia that goes back those thousands of years, they know what they're doing, and there is results. So there you have it, Dina. Yeah, and you can always DM me on that. Sharon, hey, how are you? So you're killing it today. You've got Athanax. I remember seeing that word, but I forget what that is. Isn't that in like red algae and things like that? What's that from? I remember the word, but I'm so out, my chops are so down. Um, it's Indian, right? It's Indian. It's Indian. Well, that's where it's found, maybe. Um, help me out there. Oh, so what's it found in? I know it's God. Is it a kidney supplement? Athenzaphin. Try to say that drug. Hmm. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I mean, it sounds familiar, but there's so many amazing compounds. Are you spelling it correctly? Because I'm not. It's not coming up in that spelling, but you can put a link in the chat. There's canthathex. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not finding that. Oh, so please put a link or tell me if that spelling is correct. I just copied your word, copy and paste, so it didn't come up. But yeah, that's weird in Google. Uh, let's see. Norbert and hey, Bendian's here. Yeah, man. So Vonnegut move. I never saw that. Soda House 5. I remember knowing it was pretty out there, and um, that's one of the bonuses of bus rides. You need to fill hours and hours of time, and you know, uh, this movie was great. So out there. A lot to think about. Um, is there hemp milk elsewhere? Celine says. Oh, elsewhere, like out of the USA. Yeah, I've seen hemp help. I've seen hemp milk um, used in history. I mean, if you look up the hemp history, it's it's a plant that's used in antiquity by humans. There may be an issue with lectins and almonds. You have to eat so many almonds. I mean, the whole lectins thing, man. It's such. I'm sorry. Give me some more details on that, if you. The first thing is, in all my years of experience with people with lectin issues, they've usually got so much other stuff happening. They've got some digestion stuff, whether it's irritable bowel syndrome, or they've got real poor gut microbiology going on, or they've got other allergies they're dealing with. I've never seen someone that's really checking off all the boxes. They're trim, healthy, doing a lot of cardio, hydrating properly, really great health, not any kind of health problems, and having problems with lectins or some of these beans and nuts and things like almonds. Um, I think it's a non-issue if you're in absolutely great health otherwise. Or if you completely are crazy overdoing one food, any kind of mono food approach is bad, no matter what it is, right? If you're just eating. And that's true with, say, I've had customers, young vegan kids, who eat tofu like every single day. Wow, problematic. Then they end up having some kind of a soy issue, an allergy or digestion thing, or even as bad as thyroid issues. And then people say, soy, it's bad. So you're not saying that, of course, and you're not saying that about lectins, but you get my point. Is that lectins is one of those ones that it's kind of like gluten. If people just ate bread in a moderate amount and didn't eat white flour, right, the processed, stressed out flours, 4 or 5 times a day, then we might not have the gluten problems we have. Norbert says, late in Germany, I leave you now. He says, good night. I'll see you next time. Yeah. Gute Nacht. Sharon worked in the co-op in the 80s. Yeah. Roger Sherman, my dear friend. How are you, bro? Roger I'm looking at the sun right now, Roger, and that's always tripping me out. So you're seeing it in the morning. For you, it's like 7 in the morning or something. I don't know what it is with the daylight savings, something like that. Um, uh, let's see. Um, Benny. Okay, first Pat show was Happy Accident. They replaced Brand X. Okay, yeah. Um, that's crazy. Wow. Benny, man, you are the library, man. You're the encyclopedia because you've seen some of these bands. You were a kid, but you saw all the shit, man. You saw, I think you saw Weather Report with Zamino. We were just talking about, or with Jocko even. Also says a seaweed derivative. Yes, okay. Also great. Oh, okay. You spelled it wrong at first. Yes, no problem. I thought so because I just copied your word and tried to Google it, and it wasn't there. So you left out the S, I guess, the first time. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. That's well, I was talking about sea vegetables before, and I just randomly mentioned. But yeah, I'm a big fan of. I said the Frank Zappa song, "The ocean is the ultimate solution," because yeah, it's all there. These sea vegetables and algae and these mineral source things. And there's a new seagrass that they're getting protein from. It grows on the coast. It's just like the grass you see gently waving right at the coast of water. And I just read about this. The little seed that's in there, and they pop. You know, you might have seen this. Any of us playing on the edge of the ocean, it's like a seagrass thing. But they've done some research on it, and it's kind of like quinoa. It's kind of a grain. It's a seed with a lot of protein and omega fats in it, and a lot of stuff that's not on inland vegetables. So you know, yeah, the ocean. That's look. Our planet is mostly ocean, right? So hopefully we have some solutions there. Uh, Thank you, Oso, for that link. And yes, I haven't seen that name in a while. I think Pure Planet has some products with that. But yeah, I support it all. Any way to get micronutrients, essential fats, immune boosting foods, any way to get all of those. So, all right, I'm going to close, folks, with just a couple minutes. If anyone's got any questions on the tour, I'm going to put the tour date up there. But in general, I've been eating well on the tour. It's great. I eat better on the road, having salads every day, fresh fruit. Everyone on the tour bus is really into healthy foods. And, you know, someone's a pesca vegetarian, someone's a sometimes vegetarian, someone only eats very healthy flesh. You know, so it's great. You know, it's great in that we have a nice supportive group of people where we're just ordering some really great food from great places, and the fridge on the bus has all this good stuff. So I love that. I've been on tours where everyone's about the Arby's, McDonald's, kind of KFC vibe, and that gets difficult. But this is great. Wonderful people I'm working with. I have some great new friends 1 week in, and really they've been so kind and bringing me into the team. And hard workers. We've got some fucking hard work in front of us, and they've been great about, you know, just pointing me to how it works in this world. And there's been, I think, 5 shows. No, we had a rehearsal, and then we had shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 shows in a row, and really great. What a great band! So check out the album, check out the tour dates, go see the tour if you can. Pat playing near here. Oh, so you mean in Asheville? February 8th, day before my birthday, in Asheville. So get your tickets. Yes, at the Wortham, I think. So Celine says hemp in the States. Oh my God, yeah. Tons of hemp milk. I wouldn't say tons. It's not like soy milk, almond milk, rice milk. That would be tons. But yes, there's a hemp milk. Whole Foods has it. You know, just Google around and look for a brand name. It's less prevalent than the others because hemp is a much more expensive plant. There's less of it, so you have supply and demand. That's growing now with all the legality in the USA. One of the things coming right behind all the marijuana legality in the USA is that also means hemp is legal in those states. So you're seeing a really great hemp industry coming right behind the marijuana smokable THC-9. There's also a big industry for THC-8, which I've tried a couple of times, and I don't smoke pot. I don't use THC as a general thing, but I tried this THC-8, and wow, it's strong for me. I use CBD, and that's enough for me. It's going to be 10 years that I've not smoked marijuana, and so maybe CBD hits me harder than it would some of you. But yeah, hemp milk, I think, and hemp products, hemp seeds, hemp protein, you can find it. Definitely Whole Foods, but not supermarkets, not yet. No. So, so let me know if anyone has any other questions. And otherwise, like I said, I'm just going to keep this short. I went for 90 minutes today. It was a little longer, but yeah, we will see you all maybe next week, making no promises. Hemp is replacing tobacco in many places. Some rumbling went marijuana legally soon. Yeah, I have a lawyer friend who's worked a lot in North Carolina. It's just being hung up on the business stuff. But even the Republicans know, hey, this is a major revenue, so they're going to do it. And there's the tour dates. Okay, thanks for posting those, Sharon. Folks, just go to the website, just Google Pat Metheny. Follow him on, wherever. His team's got social media everywhere. But Northeast is where we are for the next, what's today? 10 days, something like that. So, yeah, Leipzig. There you go, Sabine. Before we know it, it will be time to be in wonderful Germany. So hopefully in Europe's still fighting a tougher battle than we are, right? Vaccine availability is lower, all these things. But we'll do a catch up on the vaccine virus world maybe some other time. Yes, Celine. We'll close with saying yes. CBD is your friend. Look into it. It's you can take very little, 5 milligrams, 3 milligrams. You can take very little. See where your level is. 10, 20, 30. I'm fine with like 20 or 30. It helped me sleep. I didn't bring any with me actually, but yeah, look into CBD. I highly recommend it. Folks, thanks for stopping by. Meatless Monday from the road. I'll do this whenever I can. Take care of yourselves.